provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." That's what Living United feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Donyshia Boston-Hill, along with Ray Schwetz, and our guest today is Katherine Heaviside, President of Epoch 5 Public Relations. Thank you, Katherine, for being here with us.
Thank you, Donyshia and Ray.
We're so happy to have you. So, a question that's been jumping out at me is really to get your insight on at what point should a small business or a medium-sized business start developing their blueprint for a crisis management plan? Should they start from day one, or is it year 5?
Well, I don't think there's a date, but as soon as you determine that you have something to lose, and in some cases it's your business, in some cases it could be your house, if you're not careful about the potential of crisis. So I think you should always think about and train yourself to assess, what kinds of things could be damaging to my business. And you don't have to, in a small business, you don't have to spend a lot, but you do have to address it. And it would be good to get someone else in just to look at what you have as a plan.
I know that's the burning question for a lot of our listeners, what do you spend on PR and crisis management? I always say the best media is earned media, and that's what public relations is all about. So I'm sure some people will be calling you to get your insight.
Well, we're very careful. I mean, we want clients that we can do good work for. And we don't want to take a client if we can't make them succeed. So we're really cautious, and we do say for some clients, we say, we're either not the right agency for you, and we're more than happy to recommend other agencies that are a better fit, or we say, I think that public relations may not be right for you. It may be better to go straight to advertising or to social media or to direct mail.
Now, you have a great team at Epoch 5. What qualities or traits do you look for in employees?
Well, first of all, we hire the best people. And I've been fortunate because I've been able to hire a lot of people right out of New York City agencies who want to live and work on Long Island. They like to not be on the Long Island Railroad, actually. So
it's nice to have that quality me time, but sometimes you get a little too much.
But I look for highly intelligent, ethical, very hardworking people, high energy, who are strategic thinkers. I want everyone I bring on board has to be better than me in some way.
Now, what do you do when you have that those employees that are desirable employees? What do you do to inspire loyalty and creativity in them?
Well, I think that first of all, inspiring loyalty is treating them the way you would like to be treated, respecting them, and letting them know that you appreciate them. And I have employees that have been with me nearly 30 years. And wow. I'd say most of our employees are with me over 15. So these are people who, it isn't just me, it's what they'd call the corporate culture. People like to do good work. And when they're with a firm and they can feel pride in the fact that not only do they do good work, but every member of the team is committed to doing the best for the client. And we're pretty passionate about it.
Fantastic.
Now, it sounds like you have a fantastic team, and teamwork is key to the success of every organization. But But what keeps you up at night, Catherine? Is it a particular client? Is it a certain crisis?
Everything. I really care. I had worked for a firm in New York before I came out to Long Island. And I determined, and it was a firm that I don't think did the best things for its clients. And I was determined that I wanted to be sure that I could wake up every Monday morning and say, oh, I'm really excited to go to work because I know that I'm going to do a good job for them. And we fire clients. And I don't want to brag about it because it's not it's not something I look forward to. But if I have, I've had clients who have, for example, abused an account person verbally, and I've basically said to the account person, do you want to call them and tell them they're no longer a client, or would you like me to? Because a good person that works for you is more important than any client.
Agreed. Catherine, thank you very much. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, and our guest today is Katherine Heaviside, President of Epoch 5 Public Relations.
Now, Catherine, being a small business owner, moving from corporate America, now having a business in Long Island, what advice would you give someone like myself who is trying to break into the marketing industry in Long Island? And what advice would you give to me and some of our listeners out there? Well,
I think you're doing it perfectly. You're certainly getting a lot of visibility or attention doing something like this show. What I would say for anybody breaking into a new business, do things well, concentrate on doing them well, and make sure that you perform for your clients, and ask them to refer you. You'd be surprised. Sometimes a client will think you're doing such wonderful work, but it won't occur to them to tell their next-door neighbor. So just ask them and say, I'm looking for new business. Can you recommend some potential clients for me? And I'm sure they will.
Well, great.
The ask is extremely important. What pitfalls would you avoid in the case of a new business, or what are some of the pitfalls that you've had to avoid in the business that you're in?
Pitfalls. I think the things that you should avoid are dealing with people where somehow you have an internal nagging feeling that something isn't quite right. And frankly, it usually isn't.
Right.
So if you're dealing with somebody who you're not really comfortable with, walk away.
Go with the gut.
Go with the gut. Yep.
I think that's great advice.
No, that's fantastic advice.
Now,
the worst clients you can get, or customers you can get, are ones that will give you a tremendous amount of trouble.
I'm learning the hard way. I'm taking notes.
Now, it's with social media and with this transparency that we have, with all the technology that we have, obviously that right now is the big thing that a lot of companies are very concerned with. Not only visibility out in the marketplace, but virtual visibility, I'll call it, for lack of a better word. What are some of the next things that you're looking at that companies should be considering when it comes to PR?
Well, I think that we're just going to see an increasing upward curve of all the things that are here right now. The technology, the social media, the fact that we have a 24-hour-a-day news cycle. We have more lawyers and therefore more lawsuits. And we have a more critical public. So those things all really impact how you have to run your business. And your reputation, and building and maintaining a reputation, is a 24-hour-a-day job. You don't have to do it all. If you hire the right people, the right agency, that will take the burden off your shoulders. Yes.
Well, yeah, you want to focus on your business.
Yeah.
and continuing to do the right thing in your business will, of course, be proactive towards reputation.
Yeah.
But,
and one of the things we find is it isn't just about doing publicity, positive publicity, or stopping negative publicity. We act really as a counselor to our clients. And it may have to do with a business decision they're making. You know, whether they're planning to do something that will create employee unrest or a customer dissatisfaction. Sometimes you're too close to your business and you don't even see those things that could be a real negative. Or you might miss something that could be a real positive.
So
Right.
be vigilant.
Be vigilant and also be creative. I think that we have come up with some things for clients where we say, I just learned yesterday a client that contributes a great deal to the Games for the Physically Challenged. And I said, well, do you do anything to promote the fact that you're doing this? You know, it's tens of thousands of dollars of their
Hard-earned
business time.
budget,
Yeah.
And no, they hadn't, because they're so interested in making sure that they did the right thing. They weren't concentrating on taking credit. And I always say that, look, organizations, the not-for-profits that are so important on Long Island, they want you to publicize what you've done for them, because that will encourage other businesses to do the same. So don't feel that you have to be modest, so modest that you're not going to do anything and promote it.
That's a big key differentiator for Epic 5, I would say,
Now,
and your clients.
if you had to, what words would you give to a business owner who's listening now? Our listeners, what would be some of the key takeaways you'd want them to come away from with the conversation with you today?
Building a business is hard, but it should be enjoyable. And in my area of getting visibility, I think it can be a real asset to a business to have higher visibility. I know that every time I'm on television or get an award, or we have we nominate our clients for awards, every time they win an award, business comes their way, because people will notice them, they will be recognized for doing good things, and that's very important.
Excellent.
Thank
Katherine, thank you so much. We'd like to thank our guest today, Katherine Heaviside, president of Epic 5, and we will find out what that 5 means.
Well, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Donyshia. This has been a pleasure.
Oh, great. Well, we're glad to have you.
I'd like to leave you with one final thought. If you don't tell your story, someone else will. Plan accordingly.
We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, your co-host and producer. The creative director of Tower Talk Business Radio is Rudy Breedy. This is a NCC Foundation Business Leaders Council production. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. Available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been a Tower Talk Business Radio powered by the National Community College Foundation on the voice of National Community College 90.3 WHPC. We'll talk with you next week.